Welcome back to Uprising. I'm Sonali Kohatkar. Unless California experiences an El Nino type storm system by the end of the year, the serious four-year drought affecting the nation's most populous state could continue into the foreseeable future. Already, the agricultural industry is feeling a little of the pinch, with federal water supplies being denied, and Governor Jerry Brown has put in place modest restrictions targeting urban water use. But Nestle, one of the biggest food corporations in the world, has been bottling millions of gallons of California's precious water from the San Bernardino National Forest. An investigation by the Desert Sun found that Nestle's permit to truck the water through the forest expired in 1988. Public outcry over the bottling operation has prompted the U.S. Forest Service to announce that it will prioritize the renewal process of the permit and assess it in terms of the drought. Nestle runs 5 bottling operations in California. Recently, the Swiss company has expanded its bottled water sector in response to growing consumer demand for healthier options to sugary sodas. Nestle's chairman, Peter Brabeck, has come under fire for reportedly asserting that he thinks water is not a human right. However, the company says on its website that, quote, everyone everywhere in the world has the right to clean, safe water for drinking and sanitation. The Courage Campaign is one of the organizations that has recently started a petition calling on state regulators to put an immediate halt to Nestle's bottling operations in California. Joining me now is Eddie Kurtz, Executive Director of the Courage Campaign. Welcome to Uprising, Eddie. Thank you so much for joining us. It looks like we're going to have to call Eddie right back since his audio is not quite working. Again, we are talking about Nestle's bottling operations in the San Bernardino Forest in Southern California at a time when, of course, historic drought in California, which could go on for decades, threatens the water supplies for the nation's most populous state. And it looks like we have Eddie on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine, Sonali. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Now, Nestle's bottled water brands include San Pellegrino and Perrier and Poland Spring, but the water that it taps from California is marketed under the Arrowhead Springs brand. Nestle says it only takes as much water as one might use to water 2 golf courses a year from the San Bernardino Forest. So it's probably a small percentage of all water resources in California, isn't it?
Well, it is in the big picture, yes. California uses a lot more water than that overall. But when you look more specifically about the places they're taking the water from, the San Bernardino Forest, but also this plant in Cabazon, which is in the desert. It's in the desert and near Palm Springs, and there are already clear local effects of that taking that groundwater, the precious groundwater in that desert environment. People, human beings in the area are having trouble getting enough water to drink and bathe, as well as their impacts on the natural environment, the Salton Sea, all that is connected here. So it's having a local impact. And then also, I mean, just this is such an egregious use of a precious natural resource in California. We're making an example of this water bottling operation, and we're planning, statewide, there's really no excuse for bottling water when it's such a precious resource.
Now, if water is being used to quench people's thirst, setting aside the horrific use of plastic and the fact that it will fill up our landfills for who knows how long, but just setting that aside, Nestle says, look, people drink this water. It's not an inappropriate use. We shouldn't be angry about it. How do you respond?
Well, the real solution is tap water, because as many studies have shown, the stuff that comes out of those bottles is no different than the tap water that almost anyone can get. Clearly, I mean, Courage Campaign does not have a position against bottled water overall. We encourage people not to use it. But clearly, there are situations when you're at an airport or something where you might choose to use it if you don't have a refillable container. But tap water is really just as good. And I think there needs to be an education campaign around that.
And also, of course, when you're bottling water, you can then ship it wherever, which is what Nestle does. And you do it for profit, right?
Absolutely. It's profiteering off a natural resource that frankly, the people of California have a right to first and foremost. And they're not just selling it in California. They're taking this precious resource in California and selling it all over the country. And that's crazy.